ask me, but George, why do you get involved with elective politics? It can be so dirty. Victimization. But there's no one answer to that question. You have to be drawn by that inner voice that tells you you can make a difference. And you have to also have the courage to step up to the plate. Many of us like to sit in our living rooms and complain, try to protect our little space. We see the decline in the moral standards of our communities and do nothing. We see a government that has used the social institutions and services of this country, financed by your tax dollars, to promote their political agenda at the expense of the poor and the underprivileged and those people who do not subscribe to that political agenda. We see a government who is prepared to sell out your birthright. We see a government who is prepared to victimize you if you oppose them. This is why I'm particularly proud tonight to stand here with 29 other candidates of the Democratic Labour Party, ably led by our leader, David Thompson, who all share a common philosophy of putting people first, the philosophy of the Democratic Labour Party. And as adults and leaders of our community, we need to we need to set ourselves as role models to our young people. I believe that it is with the strength of character that I have and the commitment to the people of St. James and Redmond Village and the whole of St. James Central that I can do a better job than the current representative. Simply put, I care enough about people to do a better job than the current DLP representative. Yesterday and last Saturday, I had the opportunity to take the press into Hutson Village, where residents of Hutson Village have been complaining for in excess of 12 years about the conditions of the road leading towards the metal dump and leading into the main Hutson Village. The dust, you would have seen it on some of the extracts, and the heavy trucks are passing something like about every 10 minutes. All through the day, there is that dust kicking up in the faces of about 90 odd residents at the beginning of Hutson Village. When the rain was pouring yesterday, and the drainage on the road was a mess. One lady said to me that it is a problem for the kids on mornings coming out when the rain falls. Children that come in from Hutson 1 and 2 and Hutson Terrace. Because of the water on the road, people having to walk with an extra pair of shoes. The conditions of that road and that area, Hutson Village, has to be addressed. I have already written to the ministry. And you know what the ministry is saying? The same answer that they gave to the residents in 2002. We plan to fix the road. But when are they going to give relief to the people in Hutson Village and those people immediately affected by the dust? I am going to tonight put my leader on the spot, and whoever is the Minister for Public Works under the next Democratic Labour Party regime, that situation at Hutson Village with the dump and the road conditions there must be given a priority. Must be a priority. go into Redmond's Village, you know, Redmond's Village forms a part of this constituency. And last election, Redmond's Village actually threw me out. So although we did reasonably well in that area, it really contributed to us loss in the election. But nevertheless, the significant thing in that area is the condition of the roads in Redmond's Village and the lack of representation and development that has happened in Redmond's Village for the past 20 years. And they have been represented by a Minister of Government for all that time. The current representative had been there for over 5 years. David Simmons, who is now Chief Justice, had made certain recommendations up there which he did not fulfill in terms of providing certain employment for the youngsters in that area. Simmons has had 5 years with a plan given to him. 5 years and he still can't implement it, and I see it tonight that will be a priority to provide jobs for those kids in Redmond's Village, as it will be a priority to provide jobs for all of St. James Central. And we will work on that project. We will show them how it can be implemented. It's a good idea, and I don't throw good ideas. Don't mind that the idea is coming from the other side. There's nothing wrong with that. But we will implement it. You can rest assured of that. As I said, the road conditions up there, tracks and no development. And right throughout this St. James Central constituency, you can look at the roads. It is unfortunate, as I say, that we're not at that meeting in Paynes Bay, because the situation in Chapel Gap is as bad as anything else in Barbados. The road conditions, no curves, the road disintegrating, and every time the rain falls down here on the West Coast, you can see the amount of debris that washes into the highway 1. The foundation of the road is disappearing and coming down every single time there's rain. And that is happening in West Road. It is happening in Sunset Crest. It is happening up in Seaview. Throughout this constituency, wherever you go, there is that major problem with the roads. And one of the things that we have to also look at and be concerned with is the size of the vehicles that are using our roads. Many of you are living in the north. And if you come down by the Lazaretta and look at that bridge at the Lazaretta, you can see evidence to the west that the road is collapsing there. And I am going to call tonight on the Ministry of Public Works to have that bridge inspected, to make sure it is not in a situation where it is going to collapse, because that is the only road to the north. That will create all sorts of confusion along the West Coast if we cannot have that road in service. You know that anytime there is any sort of blockage on the West Coast, there is a major problem. And if that is happening in the morning when you go to work, it loses you over 1 hour to drive halfway up here, then have to drive back down and come across the hill. There must be a road constructed to take some of the traffic up onto the hill. In addition, we should be looking very seriously at linking some of these cul-de-sac roads going up the West Coast, because taking people on the hill only creates a further problem for Donville. It doesn't solve the problem in terms of your getting to work, but we need to be able to find a way to link some of these roads along the West Coast.